Direct tire pressure monitoring systems, or TPMS, are simple in concept. However, changes in ECU programming have created slight differences between models and model years. Recognizing these differences will make service and diagnosis easier. This course uses the TPMS in the 2008 Camry as an example of a typical system. Whenever possible, system variations between models are noted. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration requires automobile manufacturers to install a system that can detect when one or more of the vehicle's tires are 25% or more below the recommended inflation pressure. Phase-in of this federal regulation began in 2005. As of the 2008 model year, the regulation applies to all new four-wheel vehicles weighing 10,000 pounds or less. Many of the TPMS operating characteristics are established in this regulation, including its designation as the Tire Pressure Monitoring System. Click on each label for a description of TPMS components. Transmitter IDs are registered in the ECU using TechStream. This allows the ECU to monitor only signals from tires mounted on the vehicle. Japan-built vehicles arrive with the transmitters in sleep mode. The pre-delivery service procedure for waking up the transmitter is to reduce tire pressure by at least 6 psi within 30 seconds. This causes the transmitter to begin sending signals. If the ECU receives a low tire pressure signal, it doesn't illuminate the warning light until the vehicle has been driven above 5 miles per hour for at least 20 minutes. Low tire pressure warnings can be more frequent in cold weather. There is a specific procedure to adjust tire pressures for cold weather. When ignition is on or while driving, it can take the ECU between 20 and 50 minutes, depending on the model, to detect a malfunction in the system and illuminate the warning light. In models with 5 sensor systems, don't forget the spare tire when servicing or diagnosing the TPMS. For a low tire pressure warning, the TPW light stays on. For test mode, initialization, and TechStream is a necessary tool for servicing TPMS. It's used for reading transmitter data and registration IDs, performing diagnostics, and clearing DTCs. Japan-built vehicles are shipped with their TPW transmitters in sleep mode. Vehicles built in North America arrive with their transmitters active. Transmitters ordered as replacement parts are also shipped in sleep mode. A wake-up procedure activates the transmitters so they can begin sending signals. When a transmitter sends a signal, the data includes the transmitter ID. The tire pressure warning ECU needs the ID to prevent reading signals from adjacent vehicles and to identify which sensor is detecting low tire pressure or a transmitter fault. ID registration is required whenever a transmitter or the TPW ECU is replaced. To find the transmitter location, use the TPMS tester to read transmitter IDs, or decrease tire pressure by at least 6 psig within 30 seconds to force a transmitter signal and observe which ID in the data list changes tire pressure. To see how this is done, click buttons to change tire pressure and observe the change in the data list. Set tire pressures corresponding to the pressures listed on the placard or label on the driver's door pillar. To prevent frequent low tire pressure warnings during cold weather, tire pressure must be increased to compensate for the pressure drop caused by cold temperatures. Initializing tire pressure warning ECU resets the threshold pressure for a low tire pressure warning. This function is provided for vehicles that may have different recommended tire pressures for front and rear, or different recommended pressures based on load. Press and hold the reset switch for 3 seconds to begin the initialization process. The bead tool on a tire mounting machine can damage transmitters if you don't follow proper removal and installation procedures. Tire service requires attention to the tire pressure monitoring system and transmitters. Follow these recommendations. Roll over the images for common diagnostic problems. The TPMS transmitters and receiver operate on low-power radio signals at a frequency of 314.98 MHz. These radio transmissions are subject to various types of interference. After the vehicle has been driven 20 minutes above 5 miles per hour, 50 minutes in some vehicles, the TPW ECU illuminates the warning light steadily when it detects a low tire pressure. A low tire pressure warning does not set a DTC. With few exceptions, low tire pressure can be assumed if the warning light is on and does not blink when the ignition is first switched on, and no DTCs are set. These tire pressure monitoring system DTCs from the 2008 Camry are typical for most vehicles. Test mode DTCs are not included in this list. They're discussed in the next topic. In general, test mode allows testing for transmitter signal reception, vehicle speed signal, engine speed signal, and reset switch operation. Here is a summary of service tips for the tire pressure monitoring system.